Good evening, all. Planning board meeting, hearing, consent agenda, all of those good things that we do when we gather. Hopefully we can get through this one rather quickly. It's not the longest that we've seen. I want to hear me. Keep going. Oh, thank you. I want to hear me on YouTube. Joined by colleagues Martin, Rachel, and Shadi, and our capable staff and attorney. All you wonderful folks out there ready to get through this agenda. The wolves are not in the room today, so it looks like we'll have a pretty standard meeting. First on the list are two items for the consent agenda. These are two items I believe we spoke about the last meeting that included development plan review 2025-01 for 55 Mill Road for Eastern Gas transmission and storage. This is for the replacement of existing public utility minor, which is a section of the Eastern Gas transmission and storage existing pipeline. And the second one is similar for Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation. The call number is DPR 2025-03, also development plan review. We're offering that for the consent agenda. Are there any objections? Are there any questions? All right. If there are no questions and no objections as part of the consent agenda, all in favor of advancing these projects, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Is there let's do the motion. Who was the seconder? Okay. All right. Staff is going to do our next project on the hearing agenda for conditional use of 467 3rd Street. Our applicant is Juan Barrera.
Yes.
It's conversion of a 1-unit townhouse to a 2-unit dwelling to allow for addition of additional 672 square foot dwelling unit. Conditional use permit.
I'm presenting on the behalf of the applicant here. The address is 467 3rd Street. The project is located in the residential 2-unit zoning district. It is to add a unit to an existing single-unit townhouse. This is the location, and that's the exterior of the building. The unit is going to be in the garden level or basement. This is their proposed basement unit. The applicant provided responses to the review standards for the CUP application. For the first one, is it consistent with any provisions of the USD and the city's code? The project is located in the West Hill neighborhood, and it is in the R2 zoning district where 2 units are permitted. It is only when you add a unit you have to go in front of the board for a conditional use permit. Would not result in a random pattern of development with little relationship to existing or planned development. The applicant's response is the unit addition is located in the basement. It won't change the interior structure and is only reconditioning the space available, and the minor work with no impact to the main building. Not structural changes. The owners of surrounded houses commonly use basement as one separated unit to rent it and for living space. There is no need for a rebuild here. would not cause negative fiscal or environmental impacts on adjacent properties and the surrounding neighborhood. The response is the basement is for people to use as a renting or habitable space, common to the normal habitability and characteristic of the surrounding area and neighboring houses. The basement is also implemented with everything needed for a family to live in without difficulties along the year. Is it consistent with the purposes and objectives of the zoning district and character of the neighborhood in which it is located and the specific use standards applicable to the use? The basement unit is relocated in a residential area close to Central Avenue. There are squares, a stadium, and a lake nearby, plenty of small businesses, and a gas station. It would be an attractive place for potential residents looking for accommodation. Would not result in harmful cumulative effects or impacts of aggregates similar conditional uses. It is a positive improvement for the owners as a source of new income and in general as an incentive to local businesses and services, adding consumers in this area to help build a robust economy. Would not place excessive burden on public improvements, facilities, or utilities. The unit contains all the services needed to live for individuals or family: hot water, heater, bathroom, small kitchen, 2 rooms, enough light coming from the outside, good ventilation, emergency exit, backyard, etc. No major changes or additional hard construction is needed. The basement unit is located in a residential area close to Central Avenue. There are squares and stadiums. I believe this is a repetition of prior. Will provide a necessary and desirable service that is in the interest of public convenience and will contribute to the general welfare of the surrounding neighborhood or community. It is, by the end, an improvement for everyone, not only for the owners, because these small incentives relieve the demand for residential housing in the city, bring new residents who contribute to the development of the business in the area, making the local economy stronger and develop a major sense of community. Also, it is a good sign to let everyone know about this unit addition project because it is a common interest issue in this area. The applicant had also said that their main focus is to revitalize the neighborhood.
Yes.
And if you'd like to add anything.
Well, we love the neighborhood because look like Harlem for me. I coming from the city. And I think it's a good idea to add that basement for a family to live. It's a nice basement. Have big window like as you see, 2 doors and have everything inside. It's a shame to have to don't use the basement. And also, I think we're gonna, how you say, revitalize at least my block. Because over there is a little, how you say, people use drug, walking like the dead, something like that. But my neighborhood, my block, we do everything. We clean the walk side, everything. So I think we're gonna bring nice working people to the basement. Also, it's a cheap rent. It's not too big. They may pay. And also we invest. We are not rich, not a company. It's not a big building, but it's some income for us. That's it. That's the idea. It look like Harlem for me.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the board? Staff comments?
The last thing, I hope in the future, people like me, not big companies, coming to revitalize the neighborhood, because for me look nice. That's okay.
don't have any public comments on this one. Any additional staff notes?
Yes, just a few for the record. This is the project is classified as type 2 action, therefore no other seeker action is required. The application was not required to be referred to the county planning board. The project's purpose is to convert the existing dwelling townhouse as defined in the code containing one dwelling unit to a townhouse containing two. The proposed unit will be about 672 square feet. The townhouse is, the two units are permitted in the zoning district. Townhouse is permitted to have 3 maximum units. They're applying for 2. There is no known exterior alterations to the building. The analysis of the block on 3rd Street, not including the subject property, found approximately 15 buildings having single units, 27 having 2 units, and 1 building having 3 units, and 2 multi-unit buildings, and a couple vacant parcels as well. The maximum lot area required for a lot in the R2 district is 2,250 square feet. The lot in question here is 3,485 square foot. The conversion would not result in a total number of dwelling units that exceed the maximum allowed, which is 2 in this case. Each existing and proposed unit occupies a minimum of 80% here, so they occupy 100% of the story. And per the application, the recycle and refuse will be stored in the rear of the building.
All right. We're looking for an approval on this, in line with the recommendation of the staff. Is there a motion to approve the conditional use permit for 467 3rd Street?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or debate on the motion? Hearing, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unanimous, yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll now move to our meeting agenda. And first up is a conditional use permit and development plan review for 15 and 31 Trinity Place. Trinity Alliance of the Capital Region. This is for seeker determination.
Good evening.
Vic? Floor is yours. They have what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes. All you.
So we're here for the Trinity Alliance Capital Project. I'm Alex Messina with Penny Design Group. Dakota Johnson, okay, sorry. CEO of Trinity, and then we have David Gordon, who is the project manager for the capital project, and then Steve Russell with Penny Design Group as well. So we are proposing a 20,464 square foot 2-story addition to the existing campus with the rebuilding of an annex, a couple of additions here and there, and then full gut rent basically for the existing campus itself. And we have applied for a conditional use permit and development plan application. So 15 Trinity Place is currently zoned as MUNE. We were just approved, I believe, for lot consolidation to combine 31 and 15 Trinity Place to be 15 Trinity Place now. And we also were approved the zoning change from residential townhouse to MUNE as well for 31 Trinity Place. So here we have the existing demo site plan. So as you can see towards the left of the used to be the community gardens. Those have been relocated, not too far away from here, actually. Yeah. So we just have some minimal demolition on the site, sidewalks. There's some asphalt driveway to the far left on this sheet here, and then some minimal tree and shrubbery removal as well. The proposed site plan, so with the addition, we have new sidewalks, new plantings, the incorporation of, I believe, 5 tree wells, trash receptacles, bicycle racks, redoing of one of the main entries as well, and one of the stairs to the far right townhouse. And then we do not have plantings along the left side of this site plan because that needs to be maintained for emergency access by like the fire department to get to the fire pump room. So the basement floor plan here, in the addition is mainly support space, so it'll be storage, mechanical, electrical, trash storage, and maintenance. And then the existing portion of the building mainly is just demo of existing partitions and kind of just reallocating spaces within the existing footprint of the building. On the first floor plan, we're connecting the addition to the existing through a glass connector, which we have also, I believe, signed an easement for the southern facade of the existing building because we are enclosing a portion of that historic facade. It is a contributing building to the district. So we want to make sure that now that it's inboard and there's no jurisdiction over that, we want to maintain its historic properties. So that, I believe, has gone through. So the first floor of the addition, we have a cafe space, food pantry, community kitchen, and all the support space for the food pantry, like intake and food storage and sorting. First floor of the existing building, we are maintaining the gymnasium, after school care, and then offices for Trinity staff. There is a half level that I dashed on the top left corner, and that is going to contain the fire pump room that can be accessed from the alley at grade in the rear, where also you have a egress and exit to grade from the second story as well, and basement. Second floor plan. In the addition, we have 2 multi-purpose spaces that could be considered one singular space with a movable partition. And then majority of the rest of the addition is Trinity staff and partner organizations offices. And then the existing building, we have a new break room and as well as partner organization space and Trinity staff. And then this is the third floor of the townhouse and annex, which is the which are also Trinity staff offices. Okay, so hours of operation are typically Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Number of employees currently 115. Closest similar conditional use. Following organizations provide only one similar program or service similar to Trinity Alliance, but not all. We have the South End Children's Cafe on Warren Street, and then the Center for Law and Justice at 220 Green Street. This project Trinity Alliance requires New York State Department of Health for Food Services permits. Any anticipated noise, light, odors that exist beyond property boundary, standard exterior building lighting for walkways and sidewalks with some additional architectural lighting that are incorporated into the design. Does the site receive frequent deliveries from large vehicles? Yes, supplies of office goods are delivered 1 to 3 times a week, lasting a few minutes. Food pantry item deliveries can occur 2 to 4 times per week and can last up to 20 to 30 minutes. The proposed site plan includes a curb cut delivery pull-up area for delivery trucks, as well as a handicap or pregnant mother's drop-off area. And these are the same exact plans that we had just gone through. Exterior elevations, so to the left we have some general material selections. You're looking at doing Conair storefront windows in like a dark bronze finish. We would like to do a natural stone water table along the base, a color variation of brick, not to match the existing per se, because we want the existing building to read as existing, but also harmonize with the addition with this brick selection. And these are just the other views. And yeah, again, the same plans. Sorry, just one thing on the third floor plan. So you can also see some of the roof areas are hatched because with the building footprint itself, we're over the impervious lot coverage maximum. We are incorporating greener areas to help counter our max coverage allowance to 70%. Anticipated length of construction. Currently, we're anticipating a 26-month duration over 2 phases, I believe now, but we'll stick with 3. And then funding sources, there are a number. New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, thank you. Emergency Relief Organization Program, American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, New York's Economic Development Program, state and municipal facilities, capital program grant, community resilience, economic sustainability and technology program grant, and the United States Environmental Protection Agency Community Change Grant Track 1, Community Resilience Hubs.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I have a couple questions. So I like that you put the construction duration on there. How are you developing your staging plan in that neighborhood?
We currently received proposals for our general contractors. We put out an RFP, so we're just waiting to select one, and we're going to have conversations about staging, phasing for the whole project relatively soon.
So you're not going to put the RFP out with those big boundaries, with the variables that you're asking for?
In terms of
like where they can work, where they can park, where they can set up.
So, I mean, we have some ideas that we've been kicking around, like what lots are available to us, what lots we currently own, and that's going to have to be part of the conversation, what they think is best in terms of proximity to the project site. Mm-hmm. Obviously, depending on what part of the scope of the project happens first, right? We'll want to maintain the empty lot to do certain work first, sure. And then the plan is also to do some of that work first, then do the addition to act as swing space for the existing building, because that cannot be occupied when they're working on it because sure. It's a full cut. So once the addition is complete, there'll be some shutdown time, and then people will move into the new building temporarily while they work on the second phase of the project.
Yeah, I think the final outcome is great. It's just those 26 months is such a tight duration, especially with your storefronts and windows and everything.
We'll see. We'll try to make it work. It's construction. Everything's in the air.
Well, first, full disclosure, I know Dakota. So, just want to put that, I'm not, I don't believe it's to a point where I have to recuse myself, but I just wanted to put that out there as far as transparency. But I did have a question with one of your funding sources being the United States, and with it being from the federal government, and with it being kind of weird, how, if that funding does not materialize, do you have any other backup funding just in case?
So Trinity Alliance launched a $17.9 million capital campaign in December of last year. With the $10.9 million from the $20 million Environmental Protection Agency, that got us to 70% of what our goal is. Now we're in some very interesting times right now. So many organizations across the United States have been impacted by EPA, whether they're terminating, they're suspending, or they're freezing the funds. We have actively engaged with the Environmental Protection Network, Earth Justice law firm, as well as the Lawyers for Good Government. It is very clear that the decision for EPA to terminate a contract is unlawful, as well as it was a wrongful termination. So there is a plan in place that I cannot talk about right now, but it is forthcoming. The $20 million, Trinity serves with EPA. Trinity serves as the lead organization, and there are a total of 8 organizations altogether. So this project is not just impacting Trinity Alliance, it's 7 other organizations in 3 historically disenfranchised communities, such as Arbor Hill, South End, and West End. So if we don't win, we're just asking for more money. I mean, we're already in the midst of raising funds. We have a clear capital campaign packet, and we're able to have been able to secure investments, and we're going to continue to do that.
Any additional questions from the board? Take some names. I said I'll take some names. All right. I think we have a couple of actions. Oh, staff. Yes, you all need to talk.
Although my voice isn't great, so I don't really need to talk that much. Most of this has been covered by Alex. The property was rezoned. It is in the HRO, so they're also undergoing the HRC review. They're having a wonderful week. They'll be at BZA tomorrow and HRC on Thursday, so.
You'll see me a lot.
Yeah, you'll see Jason a lot.
You'll see Jason a lot.
So they're progressing pretty well with that certificate of appropriateness review. It does require the CEP due to the square footage overall of the community center use. It was referred to the Albany County Planning Board back in January, and the project is classified as unlisted action under seeker. And in February, the Planning Board declared itself as the agency, and we initiated coordinated review due to all of those public funding sources that we just looked at, as well as the BZA and HRC. So due to that, we did get some sign off, but either way, the Planning Board is acting as lead agency. And we provided a draft part 2 and 3 of the short EAF for the Planning Board's review prior to this meeting, which we would recommend adopting along with a negative declaration. As far as departmental review, we did just get back a huge set of revised documents, so those have been circulated for review, some of which was based on previous comments. So I think the high points is basically the applicant submitted a water and sanitary usage letter for water department review. And we also have the traffic engineering and planning document from Creighton Manning. So that should have some information for traffic engineering to review, as well as stuff in planning regarding parking or kind of that pull-in area for stopping during the delivery. And those extra parcels for off-street parking as well. As far as dimensional standards, there is an area variance under consideration at the BZA tomorrow for the rear yard setback at 0 feet. And the max impervious coverage has been addressed, as Alex mentioned, with the green roof and other adjustments to the site materials. The inset curb design was adjusted to reflect departmental feedback. And the remaining comments have also mostly been adjusted, such as sidewalks, street amenities, street trees, the buffer where the fence is to the kind of left residential side, trash storage, and the exterior lighting. I think HRC may want to review that in context with the exterior kind of facade. You know, it is architectural lighting, but, you know, it'll have kind of automated dimmers or kind of be on a schedule, as you'd expect. Along with the traffic study, they did also provide a waiver request, so when the final decision comes before the planning board, that would also be under consideration for the off-street parking requirement. Think of the next one. So because they're, you know, we just received those revised documents, obviously recommend tabling the conditions permit, development plan review at the time, but in order for the BZA and HRC to take action, we would recommend that you issue a negative declaration for the unlisted action. That would allow those other boards to kind of finalize their review.
Cool. Can we vote now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Make sure. All right. On the first item for seeker, is there a motion to issue a negative declaration for the unlisted action? Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. On the second action, is there a motion to table the conditional use permit and development plan review to future meeting? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to table the conditional use permit and development plan review to a future meeting. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you all. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a zoning map amendment for 540 Myrtle Avenue, Vantage South Lake LLC. R2 2-unit to RM multi-unit. All right. 10 minutes.
Great.
Alrighty.
I don't think it'll take me 10 minutes.
Good.
Because we went through the PowerPoint last time we were here. Thank you for having us back. We had submitted, at your request, we have submitted several photographs of the outside of the building, and the property manager did some sketches of the floor plan as well as the total square footage, because I think that was a question last time about the potential of how many units could be in there. We've done the math. As the house is now, it could only be up to 4 if this project is approved by this board and the Common Council. It's about 3,100 and change square feet, and so divided by 750, that would allow up to 4. And then we also put our responses that we provided in PowerPoint in a letter. And so those were all the answers that we had discussed last time, such as, you know, things like it wouldn't be spot zoning because this is right on the cusp of the RM district. And so because there's no site development either, it will still transition quite fluidly between what it's zoned now and what it could be zoned as RM. And then it provides housing opportunities. You know, there's no site development, so there's no impact to any of the vegetation, wildlife. There won't be an increase in noise, sound, things like that. And so with that, I will turn it back over to the board for any questions.
Those were some of the photos.
Yeah.
Those were some of the photos.
All right. Are there any questions from the board?
All right.
Not right now, okay. No public comment, but I'm sure we have some notes from the staff.
Not too much revision or additional from the previous time there before you. Obviously, it's an existing building, previously constructed, currently with 5 bedrooms, 2 bath. As we saw, brick building, attic, basement, and porch. The LLC that owns 540 Myrtle Ave, we have on our tax records, also owns 2 properties just kind of around the corner on South Lake Street, which are also zoned RM. Based on map geo and tax data within 250 feet, which is just kind of our standard buffer for like public noticing. There were 11 single unit residential, 14 2-unit, 2 3-unit, and 16 multi-unit, so that could be 3 or more. So it's kind of a general capture just to show that there's quite a mix of existing uses in the area. The tiny little circled yellow in the middle is 540, and you can see directly to the right is 538, which is currently zoned RM, and all along South Lake Ave is zoned RM as well. There's kind of a couple random patches of RM along Morris and abutting Yates Street, and then RT, R1M. So it's a little bit of a mix of existing residential districts currently. Next slide. So the RM does allow for more residential uses by right and more dwelling units per parcel, as you mentioned. So some of the conditionally permitted residential uses have additional footnotes, basically, which could be more restrictive. But where in the RM, they might just be permitted outright. And generally, the civic and institutional uses align. So it's just residential that changes. Out of the uses permitted in one of the 2, 39 are the same. 6 would vary on the degree, so either conditionally or permitted by right. And then of the 2 that are permitted or allowed as accessory in RM, they're not permitted in R2. Changing the zoning district would alter the dimensional standard requirements, obviously, but not too significantly. It would change some of the required setbacks, such as max impervious lot coverage and allowable height. But there again is a weird kind of asterisk footnote on the height requirement, which kind of negates that allowable extra height in the RM. So this is really the kind of the adjustment from the last time they were here, is that instead of asking for additional information, we're now leading towards making a positive recommendation. So we're saying there's a compatible array of residential zoning districts in the area. The RM directly abuts the subject property at 538 Myrtle and along that South Lake Ave. And as we saw, there are patches of RM along Morris Street and Yates, area of RT on Park Ave between South Lake and Quail, as well as R2, and then there's the R1M along western side of Quail Street and Park Ave. As you stated, the applicant provided requested info regarding the general standards for the amending the zoning map, as well as the sketch floor plans that were requested and the exterior photos, because Google Street View is not very good. So the kind of concluding statement that we include in our recommending decision is that there's some logic to the request, given the subject parcel is directly adjacent to an RM zone property on Myrtle Ave and others along South Lake Ave, as well as the purpose of each zoning district. While there was some hesitancy related to this rezoning due to increased residential density that could result, i.e. from a single unit to a 3 or 4 unit detached, the overall impact is likely to be minimal on public utilities and is not in conflict with the listing of. Also, I believe the applicant had spoken with the council member, who has also discussed it with the neighborhood association.
I just want to clarify the record. I had just gotten back from vacation. I have not had a chance, but I have spoken with.
We have spoken with it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we have
about it.
If it was to pass for tonight, we have a plan to reach out tonight. But I just
they're aware of it.
Okay, I didn't want the record to reflect that I had done it yet.
Okay. So maybe you had, but he
okay.
always is aware of it. There hasn't been any opposition that we've heard of. Nobody has ever asked about it. It's just property. So it is just a recommendation, obviously, it's the common council's final say. So we're recommending a favorable recommendation.
All right. Is there a motion for a favorable recommendation to the common council for the zoning text amendment?
So moved.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Hirschberg, Destination Kia Development Plan Review, number 0239.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Construction of a one-story, 22,630 square foot building and expansion to be utilized for vehicle servicing at Destination Kia.
Yeah, the project's required by Tremont LLC, which is the owner of the property, because they're seeing vehicles that have to stay in for longer when they're in for service. Things like computers and stuff like that take a lot longer than just changing oil. So they need this additional space. Volume of vehicles probably will not go up substantially, but they'll be able to turn them around quicker. People hate to bring their car in, they're gonna have to wait overnight to pick it up, so they're trying to speed that. That's the rationale for it. So we have a plan here that shows the existing conditions on the next slide, I think. All right, that shows the zoning area. That's the existing conditions. The building is added at the back corner of the building. It's not visible from the road except at an angle going west on Central Avenue will be a portion of the side of the building will be visible. But the front facade of the building is not impacted at all. And this shows the regrading of the area. We regraded because the floor has to be built up to have the access to it. So that black area indicates an area where the grade will be changed. And the next slide shows the utility plan. What we're doing is the major utility impacted by this is the stormwater management system. There's a major pipe east of the building that's an infiltration system that works quite well now. And what we're doing, we're extending that by making the new piping connected to it also set out for infiltration. The soil here is very amenable to infiltration methods. It's all pine bush sand type stuff or colony sand. So it's all very good for infiltration so that we don't get any stormwater management problems here. This is the floor plan. It's not a very exciting floor plan, but it does show the bays that are added there, and it's a significant increase in the number of service bays for the business. And the architect provided some elevations on the next slide, which you don't see much. The only elevation that changes is primarily the rear elevation and the side elevation. It blends right in with the height of the rest of the building. Materials will be similar to the rest of the building, so we don't think there's any negative visual impact from this addition at all. And these are some photos. That's the area where the building will be added. It's it's commercial building is what it is, and the siding will be similar to the building you see on your right with the white vertical metal siding on it. And the next slide shows some additional photos, which are, I'll go to the next slide. Oh, okay. That last slide, only 3 photos, okay. But they're all in the same area, and that area is where the building will go. Prepared to answer any questions, which the board may have. Less than 10 minutes for sure.
Absolutely. Nailed that one. Do you have any questions from the board on this one?
I do have a question,
Sure.
but mostly it's just for my own understanding. Did you say the purpose is to add more space so that they can be working on more cars at a time so that people don't have to? Okay.
Yeah. It's the turnover time for repairs to become a major element of satisfaction by patrons.
Mhm.
When they come in and the car is the third or fourth one to be served on during the day, they can't finish it in the day, they can't finish it early enough. People have to either pick it up later than they wanted to, or have to leave it overnight to be worked on the next day. So in order to resolve that problem by adding more bays, they also increase the employees, because just adding bays doesn't do much good.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
I was just curious,
Yeah.
just from conversations I've had with folks in the industry, having a really hard time recruiting and retaining, folks that do the service work, and just curious, and maybe it's beyond the purview of the board, but I was just thinking, like, great to have all the bays, but they have a plan in place to staff it up so that it doesn't.
Yeah, they think they can fill their positions. They have a good staff of people that are with them a long time, and that's a good base, because new people come in and look at that, and they think that it's a good place to work because people stay there. And again, good service technicians are in demand, and their salaries have gone up significantly over the past 10 years or so as they become more complicated. A lot of people had to go back and take some courses on various equipment and how to use it, but this is a good operation. They do a good job with their service, and they're a good client.
Staff notes.
That note. So the property consists of 3 additional parcels, 788, rear 740, and rear 6 King Avenue, along with 730 Central Ave. The current use, as it's defined in the code, is a light vehicle sales and rental, and it has the ancillary use of light vehicle servicing. It is classified as an unlisted action under seeker. Seeker coordination is not required here, and the planning board may proceed with an independent determination if need be. The application was referred to the Albany County Planning Board. We received a recommendation on January 17th, which states notice of intent filed with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, affirming that a stormwater pollution prevention plan has been prepared and is being implemented, or submission of a stormwater pollution prevention plan that is consistent with the requirement included in the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation general permit for stormwater drainage for construction activity that disturb more than 1 acre of land should be required prior to final approval. The site plan has a few updates that are required. It should include the dimensions, circulation details, especially for that first curb cut, parking, ADA access, parking spaces and access connection to the building, lighting, existing and or proposed, landscaping and or existing and or proposed, screening and for the entire parcel, not just the area that's close to the proposed expansion. The property abuts residential zoning districts, R2, residential 2 unit, and RV, a residential village. The frontage along Center Avenue is 768 feet, which would require with the calculation of 1 amenity per 50 feet would require 15 street amenities. If the site plan could be updated to show what may be being proposed and what the existing are, and also additionally, applicant may seek a partial waiver for the requirement if need be. Dimensions for curb cuts, access lanes, single or double, internal circulation lanes, and walkways should be identified on the site plan, especially around that side of the expansion. There is a lot modification application that was submitted to consolidate all the lots into one lot known as 788 Central Ave. For parking and loading requirements per the city's code, the expansion is more than 25 feet. Therefore, some of these standards would need to be addressed for this project. The site plan should be updated to include parking space dimensions and aisle widths, especially for spaces along Central Avenue frontage and adjacent to the proposed expansion. The development plan review application states that the parking spaces have been reduced to 346 spaces. All parking spaces, including loading and ADA spaces, should be identified on the site plan. Parking lot for 4 or more spaces to comply with the landscaping and screening requirements per the provision of the USDO. Site plan should be updated to identify those existing and proposed landscaping or screening. Details for these landscaping screening should also be included in the site plan set. For the provisions under the landscaping, screening, and buffering section, as the gross floor area of the existing principal structure has increased by more than 25%, it requires this provision to be complied with. The site plan should be updated to include the existing landscaping, screening, and buffering. Snow storage area should be identified. A minimum of one street tree is required for 35 feet. That would put the requirement as it is for 21 street trees. Again, here, the applicant could apply for a partial waiver for the requirement. The landscape buffer would be required because it is, the lot lines are next to an R2 and RB. So buffering, whether it's landscaping or fence details, should be added to the site plan.
We have a staff recommendation to table. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second to table?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to table this project until a future meeting date. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Take it back for the Mets when they get up about a quarter.
That's so weird.
All right, is there any other additional business that we need to attend to that was not on the agenda that you want to surprise us with?
No.
Good. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And seconded.
Seconded.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Without objection, this meeting is adjourned.
All right.
Well done.